you're going to need a piece of acetate that measures 11 by 16. Okay, and then 2 pieces of craft cardstock. I got 30 by 30. Right, for the box itself, I've already done all the scoring just to make it easier. For the box, you're going to cut yourself a piece that measures 24 centimeters by 29 centimeters, and then you're going to put it through. If you have a scoreboard, you can use that. I just use my paper trimmer. Sorry, oops, and you just make space. Right, so we've cut this to 29 centimeters by 24, and basically all I did was score. I'll run through the score marks with you. So on the base, you will score at 3 centimeters, okay, and then you will score at 6 centimeters, and then you will score at 18 centimeters. Voila. So you're going to score at 3, 6, 23, and 26, and then you will cut at 29. So if you have a look here, I have 3, 6, 23, 26, cut at 29. You'll turn that over. We're going to do the same thing. You're going to score at 3 centimeters. All right, 3. You're going to score at 6 centimeters. You are then going to score at 18 centimeters, at 21 centimeters, and then the 24 will be where your cut line is. All right, for the base of the box, for this piece here, you're going to cut a piece that measures 22 centimeters by 17, okay, and you will then score this one. We're going to make it a little bit narrower. The box lid is not going to be the same width as the box itself, so you need to score 2.5 centimeters, and then again at 19.5 centimeters, okay. Then you're going to turn that, and you're going to score at 2.5 centimeters, and again at 14.5 centimeters, and then they will have your base. And then you're just going to make sure you burnish those score lines really well. And if you're using a bit of a heavier weighted craft cardstock like I am, you will just need to really take your time to burnish everything in place. Okay, so I've already gone and burnished everything. Right, so now you have the base of the box and you have the lid. Okay, so before we start to cut and everything, it's easier for us to cut the frame out of the lid before we assemble. So on the 17 centimeter from the edge, you're going to measure in 4 centimeters and make a mark, and make a mark at the 13 centimeter, and do the same here. You're going to measure in 4 centimeters and 13 centimeters, and then draw a line. And then on the long side, you're going to measure in at 4 centimeters and 18, and the same from this side. You're going to measure in 4 and 18, and then just draw your lines in to create the frame. So if you can see there, I've already drawn everything in place, and then we're just going to cut that frame out. So a nice little trick, because I've taken the lines further across, I know exactly where to start with my cut line and where to finish, because now my ruler is not hiding them, they are exposed this side. It's all stuff you can cut out. I cut out, you can rub out when we're done. So there's my lines. I need to cut from that line to that line, and the same again here. We're just going to cut out that frame. Like that. All right. Okay, so that is it. Just before we start to assemble, it's easier to do this. Right, then you can add your piece of acetate. So that'll go in there like that. You want to make sure that it's clean. If there are any marks on it, you want to take that off now. Right, so I like to use the glue. You can use tape if you prefer. Remember, you don't want your glue to ooze out underneath. So I'm just going to put some glue around the frame like this. Okay, and then also around the edge of the acetate. Like that, right. And I'll just put that aside to dry. So now, obviously, once the acetate is in, you don't want to be able to see it because this is going to be the lid. So my suggestion is that you cut another piece that measures 11 by 16. All right, because that is what's going to go in. That we're going to use that then to cover this up. Right, so my suggestion, you can either measure or we can do it this way. So while I'm waiting for the glue to dry, I'm just going to line this up with the lines there and there. I know I've got that in place now, and I'm going to just use this to draw the frame. Okay, there we go. So then we're going to cut this one out as well, but what I will do is just extend my lines so that I have a cut line like that. Okay, and then we can just cut out that frame. Right, so if we missed a spot, we can just go back in. Try not to pull your piece of paper out. If there is a piece that's catching like that, just go back in with your craft knife and just trim it a little bit. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a little torn corner, and you don't want that. Right, so there we go. So by now, all this should be dry. We can then pop the acetate in. Go. And because I've used a glue that goes tacky, there should be no oozing. Right, and then I want to attach this one on top, but I'll do that part once we've attached the box. Okay, so we might need to do a little bit of trimming, but for most part it looks like this is going to fit in there just fine. Okay, so let's create the lid and then we will do the box. So the next step is pretty easy. You can use a craft knife or scissors, and you're just going to trim up towards from the bottom here to the first score line. Just trim. Okay, that becomes your flap, and that becomes your flap. Trim. I didn't do that straight. Do it again. Right. Same here. This is going to become a flap, and that's going to become a flap. All right. So this part here you don't want to do anything with, but for your little flaps, you just want to cut in a little bit so that it doesn't catch when we turn the box. When we use this to create the box. And you want to try and make it, don't cut it in deep and don't make it look ugly, because it's going to be seen, right? So you are going to see it. So you don't want to cut too much of an angle. You really just want to cut a slight little sliver of paper off. So just a little diagonal that you cut. It's not a deep one, so you're not going from corner to corner. You're just trimming off a little bit over there. Okay. Right, then we can turn that over. Again, your preference here, you can use tape or you can use glue. I prefer to use the glue. Or you could use both if you are very unsure about it sticking and worried that it's going to come apart. Okay, so we'll just leave that to dry tacky. Okay. While we're waiting for that, we can tackle the base of the box. So this one is a little bit more involved. Okay, so for this, we need these hinges to join the box. And the easiest is to cut up this way, turn and cut off this one. Okay, and pull. And then we're just gonna, on the next row as well, we're gonna cut in. Turn and trim it over here. So instead of having one, we've got two little flaps and we've got a flap there. This is what's going to turn and make the box. So we're going to do the same here. I'm going to cut up this way, cut up this way, trim it off over here, and trim it off over here. There we go. Same here, the easiest. Trim it in there. And again, if you're more comfortable with the craft knife and ruler, you're welcome to do it that way. Trim it off there. And we can then just get rid of this piece here and this piece here. So I'm just using my score lines as a guide as to where to cut. Trim there. Cut it off here. And cut it off here. Right, so this is the part that's going to go in. So we can then, and it does, with this one, it doesn't matter how deep you go, because we will be covering, you won't see this part. It's just going to be the joining hinge of the box. So you can cut in a nice little, you don't want it to catch on the pattern paper or in your cardstock, you know, when you start to fold. You don't want it to catch on the fold lines, and you don't want it cut in deep enough. But you do need enough of it to be able to glue. Right, so this, I know that this little joining hinge is not going to show. See what happens when you pull instead of cut? Okay, I can see here that I haven't cut it straight, so I'm just going to fix that. I normally work with a craft knife and a ruler, but it's easier to see what I'm doing with the scissors. There we go. Right, so that's all done. Okay, so this is going to form the inside of my box. This part here, so I'm gonna fold these down so you can see. This is what's going to join my box. This is what I'm going to use to create my box. And then once I've got these in place, I'm going to turn this down so that I have a reinforced wall. Okay, so it just makes the box a little bit stronger, because the cards, once you've added all the embellishments and the envelopes, they do get a bit heavy. So I can see, sorry, I'm going to have to fix it. I can see that I've gone skew. I'm not the best person to use for scissors with this kind of thing, so I'm just going to fix these. So now's your opportunity to fix anything that may have gone skew. There you go. There, that looks better. Right, so again, I'm going to use glue for my little hinges. You can use tape. Okay, so you want to just give that a chance to dry. We'll go back to the lid. So now we're just going to turn this and put it down so that this and this meets at 90 degrees and that the fold is nice and neat. Same with this one. You're just going to turn it in and shift that in place so that you get a nice neat corner. We'll do the same with this one. And your last one. Alright. So you can see here, this is a single walled, the lid has a single wall. Alright, you see what I mean by you mustn't cut these too deep or too ugly. Keep it nice and neat because you will see it. Okay. With the box, the base of the box, we're going to double up that wall to make it stronger. So then this now needs to fit inside here, which means we may be needing to trim a sliver off, because this is exactly 11 by 16 and the little frame is also 11 by 16. We want it to fit. So I'm just going to take a sliver off each side. You can see how little, it's like half a mil. Really just a tiny little bit to make this frame fit in that box. There we go. And then you just want to pop that inside and check on the other side that it's not sticking out anywhere. If it is, change. Often if you just change the position, the other way looks better. That looks like it's going to work for me. If it's if there was going to be a big where I could see a lot of it, a lot of the frame, I would also then go in and trim a sliver of the frame. So like this one, doesn't matter where I put it, there's a slight overhang, so I'm going to sliver that frame as well, that part. So I'm going to just pop my ruler like this. Okay, take my craft knife, cut across the top, cut across the bottom of the frame, and then just sliver off that little piece that I'd rather cut twice than make a mistake. There we go. So now it shouldn't be sticking out anymore. I should have fixed that. Other way. There we go. That looks good. And then this little top piece, I need to do the same. We're just going to take out, sliver off a little bit of the inside of the frame. So your other option would be to stick pattern paper in. If you didn't want to do it this way, you can just stick strips of pattern paper to hide that. Or if you don't want to do all the work, you don't have to do the frame. But I think that's going to work now. So we're just going to pop that back inside to hide the acetate. And yes, everything in place. So I can then just add some glue. Just a thin bead of glue. Right, I haven't put too much glue on, so I should be able to attach this in place. And slide it in, shift it around so that it's where it needs to be. Double check it. There we go, perfect. So that's in place quite nicely. Oops, I had some glue on my finger. I'll go and fix that. Double check, yes. There we go. So there's the lid done and dusted. And you can also then decorate that lid if you want to. I'm going to wait for that to dry properly, and then it should be dry enough. I have a glue eraser that I can then go in and just take off that little bit of glue I messed there. Perfect. And then I can then take a wet wipe and fix it some more. There we go. So back to the base. Right, so we've already now, we'll pretend that this is only a 1. So the same concept, you're going to turn this in and line that up over there like that. And see, join the little box. Use the hinge to make the corner of the box. The same here, turn it in. Use the hinge to create a nice 90-degree corner like that. Same here. So we'll do it on all 4 sides until we have a box shape like that. All right. Okay, so those are all in. We can burnish them in place. Make sure that there are no air bubbles. Everything is where it needs to be. Okay, then these we're just going to fold down. You can, again, glue them into place if you want to. I find that once we've got them folded in place, they kind of stay where they need to stay. And just burnish them in place. Okay, they just need a little bit of coaxing and then they will stay in place. Should it happen that you have, I'll take this one out. Should it happen that this one you've made with your measuring and things, because we don't always get it right, that this has come out slightly too long and you're getting it and it doesn't want to fit, you will then also have to edit this a little bit by taking off a sliver of the paper. So I'm going to trying to demonstrate. So I would put my ruler down. You're going to have to hold in a very weird way and trim it. But normally you would test this before you start to assemble the box, that you can take off the sliver before you assemble. My box fitted, so it really wasn't very necessary, but just so that you can see, if you do make it too long, you don't have to start from scratch. You can just trim off the excess. Okay, so I'm just going to burnish this. You can, like I said, take it apart again, put on glue and stick everything in place. Okay, then the lid will fit very nicely on top of your box. You can get it on straight. There we go. There we go. Perfect fit. Right, and I've done it so that the lid is not the same height as the box itself. Right. I will go off and trim these little pieces off to neaten it up. So you have an opportunity now to decorate the front of the box if you want to, or you can leave it like that. But I think that just like that, it's really an awesome gift to give. Right, so this, you can see my lid is still a little bit tight on this one. That one I've been taking it on and off for quite a bit, so it is sliding on and off a lot easier. It just needs time to be able to do that. All right. So this measures 12 centimeters by 17. Okay, and then your cards, the inside your box itself is 11 by 16, so 11.5 by 16.5. Okay, so it fits in there quite nicely. Right, so there we go, those are the boxes. And then I figured, well, if you're going to give Christmas cards, wouldn't they like some gift tags for presents? I mean, that would be a really awesome. And there is so much paper still, so many little bits and pieces of paper left over. Why not make some gift cards, gift tags for Christmas presents? And these are super simple and easy to make. Right, so all you need, I've already selected some of the embellishments that I want to work with and sentiments and things. So basically you just need to take some white cardstock. You can cut it by 13 centimeters by 7. So I'll show you. So 13 centimeters across, 7 centimeters down, fold it in half, and then we get these awesome card bases. So for these four, I just used the cutter parts, the little block cutter parts that were left over. But here, but I still had some pattern paper, and I have quite a few embellishments left over. I've got some grey board goodies left over, so I figured, well, why not just use the pattern paper and cut the pattern paper. I cut 4 pieces to 7 centimeters by 6.5. Okay, so yeah, I lie 6 centimeters by 6.5 to fit on my card. And then we're just going to go around, around the edges with some, if I can find, there we go. I'm just going to use some ground espresso distress oxide, and I just want to show you how quick this went. Just put some ink around all of them, because they've already been cut, all been cut to the right size. So my suggestion is dig through what's left over, see how many you can cut, how many bases you can cut to that size. And then the little, I chose the little gnome circles. I think that they're going to look really awesome. So I think I've got 2 of the little gnomes. I didn't get to use too many of the snow globes, so there are quite a few of these left. So I'm going to make a lot more gift tags using the snow globes and the leftover pattern paper. Alright, so I've got those. And then I want to use the Christmas trees. I mean, we've gone through the techniquing them, we may as well use them. Okay, so that's basically it with the inking, super quick. So let's go. So this would be an assembly line process. We put some glue on your bases and attach them to your card base. Remember, 6 by 6.5, because your card measures 6.5 by 7. So we're just going to create this assembly line. Like that. I'll make the 4 with you, and then there's already 4 made, so the recipient can get 8 gift tags for Christmas presents. And I think that they're really it's a really cute way a cute gift to give to somebody rather than store-bought. And I mean, I'm sure lots of us have lots and lots of pattern paper and little embellishments all over the place. You can just quickly make these really awesome little cards. So I'm going to pop the little gnomes onto the dotted paper, the lighter dot, right? Make sure my card opens. I'm going to pop them kind of in the middle. this one too. Like that. And then we can do the little Christmas tree if you didn't want to use the snow globe. Right, I thought that the snow globe disappeared on this one and stood out a lot better on that one, on the red. But we can put a Christmas tree here, like that. Just needs time to bond. And then the snow globe would look good there. And again, you can easily put some foam squares behind this and raise them a little bit. The possibilities are endless, but I just want to keep it pretty basic so you can see how quickly this can go. Then with the sentiments, I will use a sanding disc and just take off some of the edges of the black to reveal the white from the paper. Also makes it look a little bit distressed, adds more texture. And the next one. There we go. Right, so we just want to make sure that all of this is definitely stuck in place, nothing's going to move. There we go. Then it's just a matter of choosing the sentiment for your card. So for this one, I thought it would look good if we added a little star. There are some left over. So I'm just going to separate it. Cut off the joining piece. We could put a little star on the tree, or at the top of the tree like that. Could do that. I think putting it on just makes it too high, but it would also look good off to the side like that. I think I like that. Just put a little star there, and with the sentiment over here, jingle all the way. That'll look good. I think the little gnome, this little gnome can say fa la 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 la, and this little gnome can say ho ho ho, and this one can say dear Santa. Right. Put everything in place. I think it's going to look better this side. And we'll put the jingle all the way slightly over. Like that. Fa la 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 la. And dear Santa. So you have the choice for this one. This is the printed one. I put it at the bottom of the snow globe, but I think this one fits perfectly on the snow globe, just like that. Right, and again then just some lines around everything to make it pop. Like that. Then again, you can stitch or you can do a solid line. Oops, sorry. There we go. And then the black. And just by adding those lines then just makes everything pop a little bit and stand out. So I will, the rest of the trees, there are some bigger ones and some smaller ones. I'll do some more of these using those trees. And I have lots of little leftover embellishments that I cut out, the little ephemera. So I can use those then as also on the cards. Can maybe make some more big ones, which I most likely will, and I'll make a whole lot of these small ones. And then if my pieces of paper get even smaller, but I still don't want to throw them away, then I'll end up making tags, small little gift tags. Right, so I think that those then, that gives you the 8 gift tags. So I made another box on the same concept. I'll show you now how to size it so that it works. And instead of this being the base, I've changed it around so that the bigger part is at the top, the smaller part is at the bottom, and they will also then go inside the box. This one I chose not to do envelopes or a window, but you're welcome to do that. These fit in here perfectly, and then this closes it up nicely. Let's see. There we go. All right. And you can then decorate the box. You can put a ribbon around and a tab, hang a little tag or tab off of that as well. But you can see there that I've chosen to use the base as the lid and not the other way around. So I did do another one of the big boxes as well, where I haven't put the acetate in, but if you want to, you need, for this then you just need to make your lid the same size as your box, and then you can have it that it's actually slides in instead of goes over the top. Okay, so I'm going to quickly run through how to size the boxes so that you can basically make any size box that you want. My suggestion is that you decide how big you want the base of your box to be. Okay, so let's work with this one, for example. So I wanted to resize the box to fit these in. I know that I'm wanting to do a lid and a base. I always start with sizing the base first. So I knew that I wanted my base needed to be 7.5 by 7.5 in order to fit the cards. And I wanted a square one, even though the cards are 6.5 by 7, I'd like a square box. So the base of my box needs to be 0.5 centimeter bigger. You could even make it 8 if you wanted to. So I know this needs to be 7.5 and this needs to be 7.5. So I'm cutting a square. To add on my flaps, so I know that the sides of my box, that needs to be added on. I chose to make these 2 centimeters. So I know that there's 2 centimeters all the way around. So this is how I work. I need to cut a piece of paper that measures 2 plus 7.5 plus 2, so 7.5 and 4 gives me 11.5. Okay, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.5. So I need to cut a piece, and because it's a square, the same will apply going this way. I need to cut a piece 11.5. All right. This is my base. Remember, it's a single wall. So when I score, I'm going to score at 2 centimeters, 9.5 centimeters, and 11.5 centimeters. That makes no sense. 11.5 will be where my cut line is. Okay, so that will be the edge. Let's put it that way. That's going to be the edge. So I would score at 2 centimeters and 9.5 on all the way around because it's square. Okay, for the base, now I know that's for my lid. I need it to be slightly bigger than the base. So in this instance, I've made it 8. 8 by 8. Okay. So I know that this is going to be 8 and 8. And because I'm wanting to make it a reinforced wall, I've made the lid a little bit stronger than the base. Right? And I chose to make a depth of 2.5 centimeters. It needs to be the same all the way around, otherwise you're not going to be able to create your box. So going across this way, this makes 5, 10, it needs to be 18 centimeters. And the same this way needs to be 18 centimeters. And then when you score, because it's square, you're going to score at 2.5, at 5, at 13, and at 15.5. And then the next one should be your cut line. Okay, so your 18 will be your 18 centimeters will be the edge. Okay, and then you follow the process. So that's the easiest way to work out your sums on how you need to put it together. And then I always suggest that you do a prototype first. So work on some scrap cardstock first. Make sure you've got your measurements right. Make sure that you're happy that it works, and then you can work on the paper that you actually want to use. So there you go, some nice little projects, nice little gifts to give to your friends and family. I think they make awesome teachers gifts. Okay, so I hope that you've enjoyed the process and that you're going to attempt to make some of these cards. And then just to say thank you for participating in this workshop, there is a bonus page, so we'll be doing a single page, so just watch out for the next video, your project number 4, which will be your bonus. Thank you for watching.